Inside your bedroom, we stopped counting the days, lost in the rhythm.
Hi, hello, my name is Amy Prokopis and I am an author and I write paranormal, romance, and romantasy books, always with a little bit of spice. How is that for a new intro? Today we are talking about series Bibles and what they are. So we should start there. What even is a series Bible? A series Bible is a place where you keep all of the information you may have to refer back to for planning purposes for your entire book series and individual books. I include them all together. Some people make a book Bible, which is all of the information you will need for a singular book. If you write standalones, this is great. If you're somebody that worries about being overwhelmed with information, I am going to show you how you can organize a whole series Bible so that everything is in one place without it being overwhelming. So I have all of that linked in this description box. If you'd like to follow along, go ahead and go there. Click the link. It will give you the Google Sheet because I do all of this in a Google Sheet. So go click that right now, click it so you can follow along with me. But of course, I will show you guys on the screen as well. So here we go. Next time you see me, I'm going to be on a totally different camera and we'll have a different view. And I am going to share with you guys what I put in my series Bible and why. Let's go. Hey, hi, hello. We are back. I have you on screen record, so the camera quality may look slightly different. Bear with me for just a second. We are going to look at the document that I use to put together my series Bible. I have updated and changed and added to over the years this document and have compiled it all into one and linked it below so you guys can steal it. So here we go. Here is the very first page of the series Bible. So if you look at the sections at the very, very bottom, I have a tab for characters, a tab for place and settings, a tab for series notes and outline. I outline the whole series. You will see in a minute, it is a very, very bare bones outline because if you are somebody who's watched me for a while, you know that I identify as a planter, which means I don't fully outline all of my books. And I don't also fly by the seat of my pants entirely like I used to and just discovery write, but I do a combination of both and kind of plan out where I discovery write. So I do have a loose outline for the entire series. That's what this section is. Then I have my 7-point plot outline. That is per book. So I use Dan Brown's method, the 7-point plot outline. We will look at that in just a second. I do have a video that I filmed a few years ago that goes in more depth into what the 7-point plot outline is. So we are going to go just briefly into that. Then of course there's a chapter summary. You'll see how I track everything I write by chapter, by book. And there's a section for quotes. You may be wondering why the heck is there a section for quotes in the series Bible? I will tell you why in just a second. So looking at the first one, characters, it's really, really basic. I'll add the series title up here as I have it. Then there's a section for character name, age. Sometimes that's not really important, but sometimes it is. And details. So for instance, related to age, if your character is going to have a birthday in the book, you would want to make sure you mark that in the details so you don't forget when their birthday is. But this just keeps track of all of the characters within your series so that you can bebop back and forth if you forget a character's like last name, for instance. So there's that. I have a lengthy list of that, so you could add those here. Then place and settings. Again, for the entire series, there's the name of the location. So maybe it's the name of a diner, name of a city, whatever it is, location details. So this could be like if the name is the city, this could be the state that it is within, or maybe if you're writing a fantasy novel, like I have for my romantasy book, Trial of Flame and Wings, it would be the name of the city and the realm that it takes place within. And then of course the importance, so maybe the people that are there, or the culture that is related to that particular location only. Those kinds of details would be important to refer back to, and you could keep everything for those locations here. Next is going on to that outline I was just telling you guys about. Here's the series outline. So you put your series title here. I have book 1, book 2. You could add additional columns if you have more than 2 books in a series. I have mine set up for 2 just so I can get the full series and everything here on the page. And when it comes to this loose series outline, I do a traditional plot mountain, and I do a really bare bones plot mountain. So for each book, I will come over here, beginning, middle, end, and then there may be notes. So maybe I don't fully know where certain scenes are going to go, but I know in book 1, there's going to be a, I don't know, sword fight scene in this book. And maybe something really important has to happen, but I don't know exactly where within this plot mountain it falls yet. I would make those kinds of notes there. And then you would do the same for book 2. And that gives you a loose outline of where your book is going to end up. Because in the scheme of things, just like you have beginning, middle, and end per book, you also have beginning, middle, and end per series. So keep those things in mind. This is a great place for me to just info dump stuff. So if I'm still trying to work out what the entire series is about, I will start with this particular tab and play with it and add to it and make adjustments. And some of the things and some of the notes I make here may not end up in the final version of the book, but that's okay. It's a place for me to work on it. And then when I get kind of a loose outline, I feel good, I'm ready to start on book 1. Then I would come over here to the more in-depth plot outline, which is the 7-point plot method that I use. So I have listed all of the books in here. I just put them all next to each other. That way they're out of sight, out of mind. They're over here for book 2 if I'm only working with book 1. And if we eventually move on to book 2, I can just slide over here and not have everything messing with my field of view. If this bothers you, you could also put them beneath each other, but I really liked having them next to each other. I think it's a really great way to kind of track these individual plot points and where you are per book. It's kind of a nice comparison. So just a brief explanation of the 7-point plot method. The first plot point is the hook, the thing that draws people in. I think a lot of people confuse this with inciting incidents. Your hook is different. Your hook, to me, is the reason somebody is picking up your book to begin with. So they may not know exactly the details of the inciting incident, the thing that kicks off the full story, but the hook, I believe, is setting the scene. So plot point 1 would be all of the things like you've got, for Curse of Wings and Darkness, I have my human, anxious college girl. She's really nervous about everything. She's got this fun side project that she hasn't told anybody about, and she's also dealing with some trauma from her past that we don't know about. That would be a good hook. Another would be for Curse of Wings and Darkness, you also have Angel Ramirez, vampire, traditional vampire. He has to eat human blood in order to survive, and clearly he is surviving. And so he's functioning in this morally gray way. However, he's got his own set of rules that he lives by that for him make it a little bit easier to cope with what he has to do to human life, if you catch my drift, in order to survive. So that would be a good hook. Gets people to read it. Oh, this is a little bit different. Plot point 1 is the inciting incident. So in Curse of Wings and Darkness, that is Angel and Lily. They're at the same club together. Lily's talking to this guy she really shouldn't be, and Angel swoops in and saves her from this monster. And now he can't separate himself from her. He hears something that he has to follow up on that leads the two of them to then be together. Inciting incident. Plot point 3, pinch point, which is conflict. Anything pinch, literally like a pinch, is the conflict. This is the introduction of the bad guys. Then there's your midpoint, which is number 4, middle point of the book, something that happens that is then going to drop off and start the end, final half of the book. Then you have another pinch point or plot point. Plot point, you got a plan, but there's a catch. Pinch point 2 is another another incident where our main characters meet the bad guys, or the main conflict, the issue that they are facing. They have to come to face it again in Pinch point 2, which is your 6th element in the book. And then 7 is the resolution. So you've got the pinch point, and then everybody wraps that up. And of course, if you're in a series, you're not fully wrapping it up, or maybe you are, but there's some kind of loose threads that will then be explored in book 2 over here. And those details, things I need to remember, I note here in the after series / book wrap up, which would be things like, don't forget that the characters have to come to terms with X, Y, Z. So that would maybe be, and that is not a Z, that is an S, but that would be where I noted that. So this is my more in-depth book specific outline. And again, I am a planter, so I often don't always fill out all of these boxes. And when I do, sometimes they're very brief bullet point style things that I can still kind of manipulate and play with, because I like to discovery write within the lines. So that is the 7-point plot outline by book. And again, it's in this entire document, so it's easy to refer to. So as you're writing this, if you have to go back and refer to a person or a place, you've got all of these titles all in one place, or all these sections in one place, so you can type away as you need them. So after we've got that, now we're actively drafting. I move over to the next tab, which is the chapter summary. This is not something you have to do, but I really like to do like a brief statement about what happens in the chapters as I write them. One, so that I can see what bases I've covered so far. It's nice then, if you need to come back over here and review your plot points, you kind of know where you're headed with each chapter. So I can discovery write, but as I discovery write, I can also come over here to the plot outline and remember, okay, well, we've been introducing our characters for quite a while. We need to get to this inciting incident, which is this. And then I know kind of where I'm dropping it into the final book, because I have the chapters briefly expressed here. It's also really nice because if you ever have to come back and explore something, or maybe for marketing, there's a moment you want to steal and highlight, this chapter breakdown makes it really easy for you to filter and find out where that happens in the book, because it is broken down by chapter. And of course, I put them all next to each other. You don't have to do that, but since the chapter outline can be really lengthy, if you have like 40 chapters, I find it really helpful to just put them next to each other. And again, kind of for the same reason with the 7-point plot outline, you can go and see where things happen within the book, and also see how much longer book 2 may be than book 1, or vice versa. So I do this while I'm actively drafting. And as I'm actively drafting, here is that funny one that a lot of people don't include in Series Bible. I have a section for quotes. You can tell I'm flipping back and forth. They look extremely similar to the chapter summary. If I have a particular quote I wrote in the book that I really enjoyed, I'll come over here, I'll notate, so it's not always in order. Maybe it happens in chapter 5. And I'll come over here and I'll type out, literally copy paste what the character said. Here's a popular one. You're feisty for a little mouse, Angel said. And now I have a list of quotes, because right now in the world of book marketing, on TikTok, online, things that are doing really well are text on screen, usually on top of, if you go to my accounts, you'll see them on top of like some B-roll or a video of myself, just like reacting, just looking pretty, whatever. And I put the text on screen, and it is always a quote from the book. So if you are like me and you want to have those kinds of things easily available for marketing, it is a lot easier. Since I already have this document open as I'm typing and writing my book anyway, it's a lot easier as I'm actively drafting to just come over here and drop it in. That way, when I finish, everything is already there to work with, and it makes things a lot easier and more streamlined when I am going back in for marketing and publishing purposes when I'm working with a series and a particular book. Because again, I have all of my quotes right here. Something else you could do if you wanted, I don't have it in here because I have a separate document for that for other tracking purposes, but if you wanted, you could also include another tab and put publishing info. So maybe you want to keep track of your publishing progress, like I need to do a title reveal, I need to do a first page look, I need the ISBN, I need to get ARC teams going. You could track that also here. If you wanted to keep a section for that, you could list that there as well. So if that's helpful. So that is a brief look at my series Bible. I hope it was really helpful for you. I hope you enjoyed this and maybe you can use it. Again, I did link it below in the description box. It is there. You will have to make a copy of it when you open it. It is in a Google Doc. Or Google Sheet, not Google Doc. It's a Google Sheet. So you can steal it, create your own, add to it if there's things you wish were also included in this, add to that. Let me know in the comments below what you might like to add, or maybe what you enjoyed about this series Bible, or any other questions that you may have. So that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, read books, be kind. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.